Just so you can think through some in context, but also how would you solve? And we're noticing that there's a mismatch with the picture and the statement in the. You can just sit in there. Thank you, Troy. The statement in the text. Sophia said the one in the picture is on the paper is the same as the text. Is that what you're saying? Okay. So let's go with the negative 6t squared, that one. Anyway, basically that's telling you, first of all, the negative 6 tells you something about Mars versus Earth, which is what? What? The gravity is less there, right? Which you know, I think you know. But now we kind of have a value for it. So the gravity on Mars, because it's smaller, is less. The acceleration is smaller. All right. If it says, after how many seconds will the rock be 30 feet above the surface? How do you set that up to solve? Yep. Yep, negative 6t squared plus 24t plus 6 equals 30. H up here, h is the height, so we just set it equal to 30. And then in this case specifically, if you notice that every one of these numbers has a factor of 6. So GCF out of 6, and you'll have t squared, you'll have 4 and 1. Pull out a negative 6, I should have said that. But anyway, so negative 6 comes out, you'll have t squared, you'll have negative 4, negative 1. Is that factorable? I'll write it over here. Let me get rid of this blue line. If we factor out a negative 6, we'll have t squared minus 4t minus 1. And then over on the other side, we'll have negative 5. Did that help? I'm trying to think. Because it's not set equal to 0. Anyway, are you going to be able to factor? So we're going to use quadratic formula or completing the square, either one. At this point, you need to be able to do both, but you also can use your preference on some problems. Okay. Part B, after how many seconds will the rock be 10 feet? What do we do there? Set the whole thing equal to 10. Okay. 10 feet. All right, thinking of throwing this rock up, what does this 6 tell us? The initial height, and I think the picture actually shows that pretty well. It looks like he's releasing it right here, which is roughly 6 feet off the surface, right? And so he throws the rock, and we know that the rock is going to make some parabola. So how many answers could you expect potentially for both 30 and 10? 2, right? If we just kind of think of it as this kind of parabola. So it could pass through 10 twice. And maybe up here, this is through 30 twice. Okay? So looking for 2 answers. That's that plus and minus. Potentially. How many seconds will it take for the rock to return to the surface? Now what are we looking for? Or like what do we set equal? What do we do there? Yeah, this is now 0. So surface is 0 height. So same equation, but now set equal to 0. Okay? And then solve, now you're getting the zeros. How many answers will you have for that? Look carefully at the little sketch. You will just have one, because you'll get this answer back here as well. It will say negative for t, but in the context, does that make sense? No, that's like saying like a time in the past, and you were holding the rock at that point. So just know that in that case, you'll only have one answer that makes sense. Okay, and now it's saying back on Earth, so we see our familiar negative 16. How many seconds would it take for the rock to hit the ground? Again, that's just equal to 0, set equal to 0. Okay, what if it said how high will the rock go? Okay, so that's a vertex, completely different solving, right? That is a vertex problem. How do you find the vertex in standard form? Using this equation. Go ahead. Nope, it's easier.
If you already solved for the zeros, could you just go in the middle?
You could. If you already know where the two zeros are, you could just average those. Like this plus this divided by 2, and that would tell you the x-coordinate. You can also do negative b over 2a. That would tell you the time to the maximum, and then the max height would be f, actually this is h, so h of negative b over 2a. Remember, just plug that number, whatever it is, back in. So definitely make sure you keep straight max versus zeros or ground or other height. Okay, so Troy handed you the review. There is a lot on here. Let me give you some advice. On these graphing ones, you have 6 different ones. You need to do, for sure, 1 from each type, meaning 1 factored form, 1 standard form, 1 vertex form, at least. If you feel like you need more practice, do the other ones, but you need at minimum to do 1 of each type, which, if you look, would be the front page has 1 of each type. And then page 2 has 2 vertex and a standard. Okay? Look down at the bottom of page 3, please. It's the first mention of quadratic formula. Everybody see it? The first problem looks kind of gnarly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not, though. Here's why. In order to use the quadratic formula, what do you need to do with that? Just get it equal to 0. Like, combine all your like terms onto the left side. Distribute the negative. So be careful. There's a negative in front of those parentheses. And then just combine your like terms. Same with the second one. Set it equal to 0 before starting the quadratic formula. What else? Okay, here's what I'm going to let you do, because I want you to do this review. A lot of times students don't because they don't do homework. And I'm telling you, this test, the quiz, didn't go that well for some of you. And this is a repeat of that plus additional things. And so if you don't do your review, you're probably going to do badly on your quiz, or excuse me, on your test. And it's worth double your quiz. You can't afford to do bad on this, okay? So I want you to do, like I said, 1 of each type of graphing. The rest of them, do 2 from each section. If you want to do more, absolutely do more. But make sure you know what the heck is going on. Please. Let me tell you one other reminder. Go to page 4. We're looking at the bottom of page 4 at number 9. Okay. Before I even tell you, what is I squared? -1, so don't forget that. But on number 9, do you see how the first one says plus in between? A lot of times students will start distributing that and making it multiplication, even on the test. And it's way harder, and you don't need to, it's just completely wrong. So the first one on 9 is addition, and then 11, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Number 9 is addition. Look at 11. Do you see the difference there? That's the one you distribute. You'll get I squared. Make sure you count for that. But please read carefully. Don't distribute, and you should just add like terms. Okay, I'll shut up now, you guys can work. Please ask questions, please check your answers. I will post them today.
The post I can thank you, bro.
What's that? What?
The post I can thank you for us to go and check.
Yeah, the whole answer key, so please check it.
I had Jersey.
Well, I graded that, I don't know if you remember that thing, it was front, back, and I graded it. So if it says you did the whole packet, you still have it? It's the one with all the little crap and absolute value. I mean, I'm not opposed.
You telling me I gotta focus myself.
Troy, thanks for handing those out.